Hello, hello, hello. Rather, hello, hello, and welcome back to the GTD podcast. I am the Norix. I speak for the podcast, and do I sound enthusiastic? I don't know. Do I sound a little monotonous today? I do to myself. So that's kind of weird. But yes, welcome back to the GTD podcast, where, as per usual, we have the people we usually have. But hey, something amazing has happened this week. You know what it is? It's another episode. So that's cool. We've another episode in a row. Wow, breaking new ground here. But yes, with Matthew.
Yep, I'm Matthew. Hello.
And, who's doing something in the background.
What?
You're here.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
Yes, I know.
I had a note that I was assembling.
I see.
Can you hear this?
Yeah. What?
Can you hear this?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Can hear your keyboard in the background. But yes, GTD podcast, all that good stuff. Not a lot of stuff to talk about this week, unfortunately. I mean, maybe I don't know. I didn't find a lot of stuff to talk about per se, so there's that. But we have several things coming up in the show or episode or whatever. I don't know. Get things going, which is to say, talk about what we've been doing this week. Then we'll go on to no trailers because we don't have any. Then we'll go into host topics and news and end of the show and all that good stuff. I don't know. Should there be more preamble before I just jump into things? I don't know. I'm never quite sure how to balance this, but so it's whatever. Matthew, what have you been doing this week?
Leo. Hold on.
Cats.
Aside from giving cats away from the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
What have I done? I
haven't been doing anything, eh?
I ran a D&D session where the players got really lucky with grapple checks over and over and over.
Okay.
And I didn't. Which, I mean, at least my dice didn't kill my players.
All right then.
Instead, they did the opposite.
Right. Cat problems.
Yeah. He's snuggling me now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I only have one arm.
That's what cats do. They do that. They do that, rather.
So yeah, I played a little bit of Minecraft, but not too much.
All right. This is what started with you because you don't have anything ever.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. Well, I way overplanned for a session.
Okay.
Basically, this is what I mean by way overplanned. I planned out part of the beginning of the next arc, and they never got to it.
Right.
They did something completely different in that session. They didn't even leave the location that they were going to leave. Probably next session.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to die, but it depends. Hopefully they're not stupid.
Right. Well, I don't have anything to add to that specifically. So that's what you've been doing?
Player. Yep.
All right, then. Devin, what's you been doing?
Well, I've been doing a ton of gaming, sort of game map making stuff. That's upside down.
Yes.
It's a bit of a mess right now. But I've decided that basically, if George Martin could write a Game of Thrones, I could write a Game of Thrones too, and I don't even have to write a bunch of stories ahead of time. I can just start right now.
Uh-huh.
And it'll be great. It won't be a bad idea at all. I'll know what I'm getting into from the start, and so I can plan it out effectively.
I certainly hope so, because
Yeah.
George R.R. Martin, or George R.R. Martin hasn't even finished Game of Thrones. I hope you know what you're getting into.
I do. I promise.
Well, I see. Part of me thinks otherwise when I see those 15 maps.
Well, they're all the same map.
That's the problem. You have a map and then submaps.
No, I know. I need to zoom in. And then once I zoom in, I need to zoom in a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And then I need to make every house. That would just be pedantic, though. There's no reason to make it that zoomed in.
Well, yes, that is true.
However, in addition to that, I also got a job recently.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a full-time job. So I'm doing a full-timer job.
It's
good jobs. Yeah.
What is this mythical thing?
It's I'm working at a warehouse where I lift heavy objects and move them to new places, and yeah.
So you're a gopher.
A gopher?
Yes.
No. Maybe.
You go for this and you go for that.
Gopher. Yeah, gopher. I go. Yeah. Gopher, Gofer. Yes, I'm a gopher.
I love that word.
I've never heard that word.
It's
love it.
It's mainly, I'm not sure if it I highly doubt it has actually any practical application, but it's mainly for the sake of the joke. I'm a gopher. You don't look like a gopher. No, I go for this, I go for that. I'm a gopher.
It's a lot of fun because it's not backbreaking. It's just a workout, and I love that. And there's enough time for breaks in between doing things that I can fully recover and then go for more. And I've been eating a ton to make sure that I don't get hungry.
You should usually do that normally.
Yeah, but now I need to.
You always need to eat,
Yeah, tell that to my body.
I currently am.
It doesn't understand that.
Well,
it doesn't always understand that. Sometimes I'll get obsessed with something and start focusing on it way too much.
Right.
Oh, and the last thing is I jumped on the server the other day and I built some more of my underground base, because I basically went into the middle of the ocean and I built a giant rock, and then I started carving out, like hollowing out the inside of it, getting rid of the water, and then I built a bunch of secret passageways in it. And so I'm basically building a giant cave system inside of a giant rock.
I see.
It's gonna be awesome, hopefully.
That sounds what?
That mountain is off the coast, not in the middle of the ocean.
It's in the middle of off the coast a little bit. You need
it's in the middle. To you know how beaches work, how you go like 1 foot off the coast and it just goes down. That's the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. And the best part about this whole giant tower ocean thing is that whenever I'm on with Zach or with Matthew, we jump on and we're like wandering around my base, and they're like, "What's this? Oh my gosh, I didn't know there was a secret passageway here. What's that? What's this? What's that? What's this?" It's so fun. When it's finished, it's just going to be like the building with 1,000 doors in it or something.
So it'll be Sigil.
I mean, they all lead inside of it, so.
City of 1,000 doors, you say, huh?
It's a not useful sigil.
I mean,
Minecraft building. Why does that have to be useful?
It's useful as far as a Minecraft building is concerned. Also, is Sigil itself actually useful within the cosmology of D&D?
Probably.
What, like, it's more of a nexus, if anything. It doesn't really prevent, or like, the only thing that's weird about it is the fact that the Lady of Pain who runs it can prevent gods from entering her domain, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Well, she does seem quite strong.
We literally know nothing about her.
I said she does seem quite strong.
We don't know what her goals are, what she's doing. We just know that she doesn't allow gods in her domain, and she doesn't allow wars in her domain of like angels and devils. So that's about it.
Oh my gosh.
Cats.
This cat just jumped into the trash can.
That's what cats do.
No, just on purpose.
I think you need to. That's just what cats do, okay? They just like jumping in things and then getting stuck.
No, she immediately jumped out when I started walking over to her. And didn't even knock it over. She just jumped in for fun.
That cats be crazy, yo.
Wow.
But
she will literally eat anything.
That's. I mean, I've had cats like that too. They're just weirdos.
I've had her.
I'll eat that.
Some bread.
I mean, yeah, I've had cats that will just like not eat anything, but will have just like weird, like, I'll eat that. And I'm like, why? Why would you do that? I don't understand you, cat. But yes, so that's what you've been doing this week, Devin?
That is basically what I've been doing this week. I've been working, coming home, watching a video or two on YouTube, going to sleep. I mean, working on the world building a bit, writing a bit, going to sleep, waking up, going to work. Just that's what I've been doing.
I see.
A lot of fun.
Sounds like it. Works.
So you're adulting.
I am, in fact.
You're becoming adult.
You're becoming an.
Wait, adulting has multiple meanings. I'm not adulting.
You're not. Well, yeah, you're not adulting. Definitely not adultering, because that would make you an adulter. You're definitely not adulterating. Fuck, what was it? What's the actual term? I've lost myself. I had the joke in my head and then it went away.
I think it is adulterating, but I think that's
it's adultery specifically. I think adultery. I don't remember the exact term, and now it's just stuck in my head. Whatever.
Yeah, it's just adultery. There is no adulterating.
That's more accurate.
Adulterating is not a word. I really hope it's not a word, because that would be really strange.
That would be strange. Okay.
Also, I'm not married. I can't, Aaron, I can't adulterate if I'm not married.
You just said adulterate.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's move on. What have I been doing this week, you ask? Moving on from my lack of funniness, because I'm terrible at comedy. What have I been doing this week? That's a good question. God, my brain has been melting, and I just don't know what I'm doing anymore. It's like a minor thing. I was breaking my brain trying to make something in Smash Ultimate, because the level, what are they called? The stage making tools in that game are like interesting, but they also like are kind of limiting and are weird. Like there are like set parameters for what can and can't happen sometimes, and it's just really annoying to work with. Because you can't, like, there's a lot of aspects of the game you can't physically control in stage creation, like where a character spawns, or where or like certain other things. So you can't have like enclosed spaces. And there's also just a lot of other weird things that are about it. And anyways, the creation tools are very limited as is.
Yeah.
So, kind of wish they'd add more, because that would be cool. Anyway, but yeah. Other than that, yeah, I was doing that. Does thinking about doing something constitute as doing it?
No.
No? Okay. I haven't been doing anything then.
Do you think about writing another script? Or is this the same script that you've been thinking about writing?
Well, it's not so much that. It's just in general, I have a lot of thoughts that are like purveying. And it's like, oh, that sounds cool. Doesn't do it. Happened in my mind.
Can I hire you to write something for me? Can I hire you to write something for me?
What?
A story set in the massive mess that I'm making.
Maybe. It's weird, right? Because if I can get myself to sit down and actually write something, I feel like I do okay, but I'm never happy.
Well, that's fine. You know that I published a book, right?
I'm aware of that. It's not, no,
okay.
It's the problem isn't with the not being happy with your own work. It's the problem of like halfway through writing something, I'll go back and be like, no, I don't like that wording. I'll change that wording right now. I don't like how I worded that.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's a big problem I have that makes writing things 10 times longer than they should be. It also doesn't help that I can't fucking keep my mind on track sometimes.
If you're gonna write something, just write it all the way through. Just keep writing until the story is actually over.
Yeah, that is
just write.
Appropriate.
This took forever to edit. It was written in 2 days. It took 6 months to edit.
That sounds correct.
Don't edit it while you're writing it or you won't finish it.
It just kind of goes back to this weird thing of my mind where when I make a decision on something, I'll like look back on it maybe like a couple days later and be like, I don't like that decision. Let's change it. Instead of just it's like names.
Oh, well, that's okay, but then just don't worry about that.
Well, no, it's not just names. It's like things. Names are an example because those are things I'm terrible at coming up with. I'm terrible at coming up with names, and when I do, I'm usually not satisfied with the results.
Name the characters character 1, and then character 1 walked into the room. Or maybe you could name them their trait. Like you could be like angry
Gruff man.
Dwarf man.
Gruff man walked into room with short man. Wait a second, I decided gruff man is now petite man.
No, I mean like you change gruff, like you keep the character named Gruff Man as Gruff Man, and then later on when you're editing, you're like, okay, Gruff Man needs a name. Gruff Man's name is Aaron. There we go. And then Aaron, the character, is walking around. I don't know where I came up with that name. I mean, it's kind of like Norax, but
it's I don't know what you're talking about. Aaron is the manliest of names, especially when you spell it with an E.
Aaron Erickson.
Aaron Erickson.
Yeah.
Sir Eric Aronson. Terrible.
Anyway, we got a little off topic.
It's just like, I suppose, yeah. But like, I guess I'm just using this as a platform to complain about my inability to do anything at this point.
Yo, do you know how many stories I have not finished? I've got the first chapter or first 2 chapters. Usually it's just the first half of the first chapter, but that's embarrassing.
Probably a lot. I can guarantee it. Yeah,
it's like close to 50. We're not counting things that I've only written half of the first chapter because that's hundreds, and I don't want to think about those. There are so many. It's so hard. I get it. This is why I had to publish this. I had to finish this so that I could actually tell myself I wrote something, and I knew that I'd written something.
Well, you did it.
Yes, I did. And it's not bad.
Anyways, yes. Yes, I have a lot of thoughts about things that I want to do or think of things that are interesting, but don't come through because of my indecisiveness and inability to be consistent.
I have a video for you to watch.
It's not going to help.
It is going to help. It is going to help. It is a video. It is a video called "The Real Reason That You're Procrastinating" or something like that.
I think I've watched that before.
It's a dude painting while he's talking, right?
Maybe. I distinctly remember watching a video that had something like that title.
Well, there's a lot of those. So, and
it's
most of
possible
them are
that
not
the
useful.
dude was painting.
Okay.
I don't exactly remember. I just remember the title the most.
Well, I want you to see this video because it was a really good video. It was very thoughtful.
All right. Well, you can send it to me later if you really want to.
I could visit you later today.
You could.
And shove it in your face so you can't avoid it.
You could do that. I guarantee it might happen. I've gone on a rambling for too long, but getting back to what I've been doing this week before I just go off on another tangent about my stupidity, is that I haven't been playing a lot of games, as I've mentioned before, have kittens and stuff has been going on with that. And I haven't been playing a lot of games. Mostly I've just been playing Smash Brothers intermittently throughout the week. There's that. I do want to play video games, but I need to wait for my cats to be big enough so they don't get into anything, which is the main problem. Because there are things they can get into that I just can't. I can't have them getting into, and I have to watch them, and I can't play video games and watch them at the same time, which is the main problem. But yeah.
Makes sense.
The only reason I'm playing Smash Brothers is just because I like it, and it's the only thing I can do quickly and just intermittently if I feel like doing it. But yeah, that's about it, I guess. I really haven't been doing that much. I've been doing a lot of thinking, though, as is per usual.
Okay.
But yeah, that's about it in that regard. So yes, moving on to trailers. We don't have trailers, so we'll just skip directly into host topics. I mentioned this at the start.
Okay. Host topics.
Why don't you guys ever have host topics? Like, seriously.
I don't understand how I keep forgetting that they exist. That's my problem.
Write yourself a text message and send it the day before.
Host topics. We could host a topic. That's true. Yes.
Jeez, man. Like, what is this? Where am I? Is this real life?
We got hosts and we got topics.
What is going on?
Hosts, lots of topics.
Lots of hosts, lots of topics.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I can go back to my tangent. If that's fine.
I did have a question. It's kind of unrelated, so I'm just going to ask it. Okay. How hard is it to model? Like if I were to want to make a world, like the D&D, like the world that I'm making, but render it in a 2D game, so like a top-down RPG format, how hard do you think it would be to make something like that these days?
Well, first of all, it depends on the size of the world, obviously. And because it doesn't really depend on the size of the world. It depends on the size of the scale. So you can have your world be as big as you want, but you can render it at like a small scale to get your point. It's like, this is, so it's like, if your world is, whatever, how big, you can render it at like 0.8 to real scale.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. What I meant is, so like, imagine I just wanted to render one kingdom for basic systems. And I wanted to make a map for each, so like a pixel map for each area in that case.
If it's completely
and then you can, like walk from one to another, like Pokemon, basically.
Well, as I was gonna say, it's like if it's just pixels,
Like Zelda.
then it wouldn't be super difficult, especially if you're using like, especially if you're using the old RPG approach of things, which is you have a world map, which is you have like this world map that you go around, and then you have cities that you can go into, and it warps you to a different map that is the city, which is like the old RPG approach to do things. I mean, technically Pokemon did it as well because it had load screens between things. You know, it didn't render everything at once, but I mean, it wouldn't, like, if it was just pixels, if it was just pixelated graphics, it wouldn't be too terribly hard because most computers nowadays can render a lot, especially with when it's just pixels. You know,
so like how would I go about doing that if I wanted to make that?
I mean, I mean, you could do it with a game engine of any kind. Like there are a lot of game engines that work on pixel graphics or just pixels in general. You could do it in, like, I don't remember what it's called. Like there are editors, or like there are specific things that allow you to build on like a pixel scale.
Okay.
In regards to like art and stuff.
And if I wanted to like import it, like basically what kind of game engine would you recommend I use for that?
I mean, this is just a question to me, but like,
yes. Or I mean, hypothetically for the audience, if they were interested in game designing their own pixel universe for their own D&D
I mean,
game,
like if you want to novel
series,
so like you can just say fuck it and go to CC or C++ and just be like, I will code from nothing, which are coding engines that you can do. Coding engines that allow you to do a lot, but it requires it's a very hard learning curve because it's just code essentially. Then there are specific engines that make it easier, that have programming languages, like, you know, Unreal. For 3D, you have stuff like Unreal and Unity. But for 2D, you have stuff like Game Maker and Godot, which is a recent. I'm not sure if it's recent, but it looks pretty neat and has a lot of cool features.
So if I asked for a specific single suggestion,
just use Godot. It has like it's mainly for people who know some coding, but it has I mean, listen.
I do know a little bit.
You're going to run into this problem regardless of what game engine you use, but it does have features and tutorials for people who go into it at a zero learning level experience. Like, to say that literally have like videos explaining like explaining to people how they would want to go about using Godot if they don't have any programming experience. Or not at their hands. On their hands. And their hands, you know what I mean. But yes.
Yeah. Inside their upside down hands.
In their upside down hands. You can use Godot for that if you really wish. Or just, you know, whatever. If you're just gonna make a game. Sounds like you are.
Yep. Hopefully. Ideally. Well, the key thing would be I want to build the world around the game.
Yeah.
Because I want to build a world that I can put pieces in and then move them around. I don't know if that makes a ton of sense. I should look into how exactly Godot works.
I mean, it's a game engine that has its own programming language. So and it uses pixel or you can use pixel art and just some other arts and stuff like that. It's pretty open as far as I'm aware. You know, I'm personally going to start using it, or what's the word? Not start using it. The other word. use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're using it on your game.
Yes, because I think it is very interesting and cool and open.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that kind of recommend Godot as like a open source gaming engine. It's definitely a lot more simple than trying to go into 3D right away, because holy shit, is Unity complex.
That was my thinking. Also, I did try using Unity a couple of years ago. That was a headache.
Listen, I've gone through the trouble with Unity many times, and it's worth it. It really is. But holy shit, man.
I just want a simple game.
That's the thing. It's like 3D is infinitely more complex than 2D. At least as far as coding. It's not really the coding aspect. It's just the design aspect. Really. Also the rendering stuff, because my computer is fucking dog shit.
Oh.
It's not bad. It's just you can't render 3D you can't use a 3D game engine on a computer that's mine. It's just not going to work.
Oh well.
But yes, Godot, if you really want to do something like that. I think Matthew has completely zoned out.
I'm listening. I just don't really get any of this. So
I think I had heard of Godot recently, and so I'm going to look into that after the podcast.
All right, then. It sounds good to you. Yeah. I just have a lot of things. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I feel like I never really knew what I was doing, but I had more confidence before. Does anybody really know what they're doing? Or are people just confident in their own ability to know what they're doing?
I don't know. Confidence is very important.
I can assure you right now, I know exactly what I'm doing.
In the moment, yes. I assure you that is the case. But yeah, what were the host topics? Yeah. Do either of you have one after that long ramble?
Yeah.
Did I hear a yeah?
Were we supposed to have come up with one while?
No, not in particular, but you didn't have to, but you know. Did I hear a yeah or a no or yes?
I can make something up.
Don't make something up. It's not going to be good.
What do you think the proper what do you think what would you recommend the proper amount of time between breaks to be for a hardcore gamer to keep their eyes from getting injured? Or do you think heck with their eyes, they can have injured eyes?
I'm not the right person to ask this question, as you can see. Listen, I don't obviously I take breaks between gaming sessions, but obviously I take very to me, I like to just get into it. So several hours go by and then, you know, I'm like, okay, that's probably good. Obviously my eyes are not comfortable with that fact. It's also you really need to get into the habit of blinking when you play video games. It's something I didn't realize I had this problem until recently, but I do have a tendency to not blink for long periods of time when I play games or something similar.
Yep.
So, you know, that's not good. It really dries out my eyes and makes them irritated as all hell. So, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all.
No, it's not good.
Tain't good, I tell you. Tain't good.
So what would you recommend, perhaps hypothetically, as a good way to
blink when you're playing video games and take breaks every now and then?
Okay.
Never take breaks, never get water, never go to the bathroom.
Yeah, sit in front of your computer and or gaming console until you shrivel up into an acorn.
Yes. Yeah, Devin tried to do that before.
Hey.
Years ago.
Hey.
You were really addicted to it.
Hey. That's not very nice.
There are a lot of side effects to it, though. So.
Sorry. The
that was a bit of a.
This what?
Nothing. Just the time when I was very, very much wanting to play a lot of Minecraft, and I played it very intensely. That was a time.
I'm very aware of this fact.
That was a time.
Trust me.
That was quite a time.
It was quite a time years ago. I don't even know. Time is nebulous at this point. I don't care. What is time? It's a nebulous concept. Who cares about it? Who needs time?
Yeah, birthdays are only really relevant before the age of 18.
Stop trying to shove your time onto me. I don't need it. I don't need a timetable or a proper schedule. What are you talking about?
Okay, proper schedule seems important.
It's time related, therefore it is meaningless.
Wait, then what about the other
this is going nowhere.
Actually important parts of time. Anyway.
This is going nowhere fast. Anyways. As I've said before, I've already explained as to why I don't usually come up with host topics, and I feel as though I don't need to keep repeating that, but I do anyways, because that's who I am. I don't know. Like you said, though, there wasn't a lot to talk about this week, or at least I didn't find a lot to talk about this week. So move on to what little news we have. And it's not even really that big of news. It was just something that, I don't know. It was just something I found and thought was worth reporting on. Okay. Which is specifically Paizo, those guys that make Pathfinder and all that. In their most recent release book, what is it called? It's well, what book is it? Doorway to the Red Star. There we go. Yeah, it's in the preface of book 5 of the Adventure Path, Strength of the Thousand, Doorway to the Red Star, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, basically, Paizo has decided to change the term phylactery to soul cage, because apparently phylactery is an actual word that references a tefillin, which is a Jewish object. It's another name for the English language to tefillin, which are black boxes worn on the head during morning prayers, with parchment inside that are with scriptures of parchment inside with scriptures on them. And that's like, it's what's the term? Why can't I think of the term right now? It's a Jewish religious object, a phylactery, apparently.
So what you're saying is they don't like appreciating Jewish culture.
No.
And history. No,
the reason I brought this up is because I saw it and I was just confused by it, because I, as many others probably think, did not know phylactery was another word, a very old, out of date, probably not in use word of a tefillin. Another word for a tefillin, which, I mean, I guess it's whatever.
Yeah,
it has been losing use according to Google.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. That's strange.
I mean, liches are generally evil. So you could, I get it. You can make the argument that having a term closely related to liches, who are always generally evil, could be seen as anti-Semitic. I get it, but I get why. I mean, that's obviously why they changed it.
Okay. If that's
why else would they change it?
It's a good point.
Wait, but then there's a Latin word for phylactery.
As far as I am aware, though, phylactery is the old.
Yeah, phylactery. Phylactery is an old Latin word.
Yeah,
it seems to mean amulet. Or
yeah, it has its root. Like, so yes, but I don't know. I'm not Jewish, so I don't get to make a call on this. But personally,
I am Jewish.
Are you?
Yes, me and Matthew are Jewish.
Oh, well, I was unaware of that.
Because of
this is new information to me.
Because
our mother was Jewish,
works,
and her mother was Jewish.
Yeah,
well, how was I supposed to know?
Yeah, because it's
I know.
Passed down from the mother.
I forgot about that.
We're Jewish, technically.
Okay, cool. What are okay? Do you practice Jude? Is it Jude?
No.
Yeah, Jude. Do you? I was gonna say, if you're not practicing
religion, we're Baha'is.
Well, I know you are Baha'i faith, but I'm just saying, like, you're not practicing Judaism.
No, we are not practicing Jews. However, I still get to have opinions on Jewish things.
Okay, go for it.
Slap with Israel for absolutely no reason.
Slap this decision across the face with your Jewish heritage.
What?
Slap this decision across the face with your Jewish heritage, why don't you? Or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, I just think that if the reason that you're changing something is because if the reason that you're changing the name of an item that for decades has been completely uncontroversial, and the reason you're changing it is because 1,000 years ago the word meant something else.
I mean,
that is vaguely related to the word that's used, or that is, even if it's like directly connected, that doesn't feel much like a reason you should change it. Because like Knights Templar are a Christian thing.
Yes.
And they're all over in D&D. And that's totally fine because they've been changed a bunch. A phylactery is completely different than a whatever the thing is.
A tefillin.
A tefillin.
I don't even. It's tefillin. Tefillin. I think it's tefillin.
It's totally different than that.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how you would pronounce it. I think it's tefillin.
Okay. It's totally different.
Oh, okay. I mean, like
my ears hear different things.
Well, yeah, I get that, but like just from my I don't know a lot of Jewish people. Apparently, I know 2 Jewish people. That's something I was unaware of until literally right this moment. I am also unaware if I have known any other people of the Jewish faith.
But the Jewish.
I can't speak right now.
No, I know. It's just it sounds really funny.
Well, yes, but so like I said, I don't get to make a judgment call on whether or not this is really right or not. I'm sure a lot of people, from what I've seen have been just like, yeah, sure, good for you, I guess, in this particular regard. I don't know. It's weird because
I take the position of it's going to needlessly create if people actually care about it, it'll needlessly create conflict where someone refers to it as a phylactery and someone else says, no, actually it's called the
I will say, regardless of your own personal beliefs on whether phylactery was a good term to use or not, soul cage sucks as a term. Soul cage is not a great
and is the name of a spell.
In 5e, this is Pathfinder.
Yeah, I know.
But soul cage just doesn't sound very good as like a
no, it also
would use.
It's
my soul cage.
Oh no, it's from my soul cage. It's very direct though.
Soul cage sounds like something like the Undertaker would use as a line in WWE. It's like, I'm gonna take you to the soul cage.
Let's go down to Soul Town in the soul cage. Let's go, bro.
Yeah, it's not.
They could have just made up a new word that sounds cool.
I was just like, regardless of your personal opinion on for phylactery or not, soul cage is just not a good replacement.
Yeah, we can all agree on
good.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, What would be interesting is if there was like a note where it's like, interestingly, like they put, instead of changing the name from phylactery, they just add a little note next to phylactery in the liches thing that's like, the word phylactery comes from this thing, which is connected to this thing with the Jewish thing, and it's related to maybe misconceptions around Jewish people somehow thinking that they're liches, although I don't think that's actual
Well,
history.
that's the thing, right?
I've never heard of that.
The only real reason they
the thing is,
no, continue. Hello?
Yeah.
Continue if you're gonna.
If there is an if there's actually a connection between anti-Semitism and witchcraft or whatever, which I've never heard of that. I've never heard that there being any connection between like witches and magic and the Jews. Like how, like what? That's not why people didn't like Jews. I don't 100% know why they didn't like Jews, other than them just being a distinct other people.
I mean, that's about it.
And having money.
It's the same thing with like Romani
being blamed by random people. Yeah, people just don't like them,
or
for some reason, distinct people groups.
I call them Romani. It doesn't really matter if gypsies, Romani, they're the same thing.
Yeah, no, they call themselves gypsies. It's really funny. It's like in America, it's like the Native Americans, and then you go to the Native American places, and it's like the Indians. We're Indians. And it's like, oh, okay.
I will say, right. Technically,
it's a headache to Google search, though.
No, but here's the thing: as far as a correct term, Native American is actually correct because we're not in fucking India.
Well, here's the thing, Aaron. The correct term is the term people use, and so if people use the term Native American, it's Native American, and if people use the term Indian to describe themselves, and they just say, well, the word will now have two meanings, then it makes perfect sense. I mean, the Dutch call themselves, the Germans call themselves Deutschlanders.
Do they?
We call them Germans. They call themselves Deutschlanders.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
And there's another place called where the Dutch come from called Netherlands.
The Netherlands.
Language is silly. Words are silly.
Yes.
And so in regards to this, I think it would be very neat to add a little historical note on like how people have been maybe misperceived throughout history or whatever, and just note that in their game, because that's inoffensive and will not cause conflict by any. There's no way, and it'll make people interested. Like, oh, that's kind of cool. Jews were thought to maybe somehow be connected to that, but I don't think they were. Like, I'm gonna look into this.
Well, it's not that. It's this comes from. I don't think it comes from like people in the past. It literally comes to the fact that phylactery is just another word roughly for tefallin, and the fact that liches are inherently evil in a lot of it, like phylactery is another English language for tefallin. These are the black boxes worn on the head during morning prayers. Typically prayers and a parchment would be put inside. So it's this like it doesn't really have anything to do with like historicalness, the historical whatever. It has to do with like the fact like liches in most fantasy are evil, and the thing they put their soul inside of is referred to as a phylactery. And that was started roughly by Gygax, I think.
Makes sense.
In original, or in what is it called? Greyhawk, first liches and stuff. So you have like the reason Paizo are doing this, and also they're doing this before any uproar was even brought up against it. Like, I haven't heard anything about this. They're doing this before anybody has even talked about it. Talked about the potentials, the phylacteries being another word for tefallin.
Well, someone talked about this. There's a thing where people are talking about this in 2012, 9 years ago. Someone says the tefallin are the boxes that contain the script of the Torah, It was originally meant to refer to Tefallon, boxes that contain script from the Torah. The first time I heard it, though, it was as the soul jar of the Lich in D&D. I think soul jar just works better than soul cage because like soul jar is a spell that makes a soul jar. Because soldier sounds like soldier.
Yeah. I mean, it's
and someone
like
says the box of scriptures to soul jar seems like a bit of a leap, though not an unimaginable one. Can it be pinned down to a design choice of the D&D rules writers? What is its first use in fiction? And then there's some people talking about it. While Gygax may have known the original religious meaning of phylactery, it appears that someone else who wrote some stuff with them did not know that.
Yeah, I mean,
in the process, he used the word phylactery.
I mean, there are some early descriptions of as far as I'm aware, there are some early descriptions in like the Lichdom of like of what a phylactery looks like in the world of D&D and other places, and it does kind of look similar. I think.
So I decided to look up basically just when did D&D use it and that sort of thing.
All right.
And so the first comment, this is a post from 2 years ago on Reddit, but the first comment said, basically said that they'd looked into it and found that its historical usage was a safeguard or amulet type thing.
Yeah.
And Talon is a safeguard / amulet because they hold the sacred texts. But there are other things that are also called phylacteries.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, though, like they're doing this before anybody has risen an uproar about the possibilities in the making, and also like the they literally did this. Paizo specifically literally did this in like the 5th book of an adventure series. So it's like kind of under the radar. It's just something they decided to change. But like, you know, I don't know. It's
from what I can tell,
I've never heard of phylactery outside of D&D. So
yeah, based on what I can tell from the definition of the word, all the way going back to its Latin roots, and yeah, the definition of the word and like that post. Phylactery is a very fitting word that could be used for a number of other things because it really means safeguard overall.
Mm-hmm. Here I found someone linked the Wikipedia article about Koschy, who is a dude who is supposedly like an ancient Russian lich who created this thing and houses his soul in it and is known as the Immortal, and he's like an archetypal character in stories.
Mm-hmm.
And he apparently had an unusually long life of over 100 years, according to the records that we have. And his life was supposedly protected by a magical amulet, which is apparently, according to someone, where the D&D origin of the idea of this came from.
That would make sense.
And so
because
the word
phylactery does also mean amulet.
And it looks like the word phylactery was taken as one of the synonyms of it was taken as one of the synonyms of amulet or something like that by a writer for D&D who put it in something else, and then Gygax took it from that and put it into the monster manual.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting looking.
I think it kind of comes down to it's a word.
I mean,
and, if there's already a word for the Jewish thing, we can have the word phylactery just mean what it means now, because words can change meanings. But
yeah, but like I said
don't know.
before, I literally haven't heard anybody make an uproar about phylactery
Yeah.
like ever.
Neither have I.
So Paizo is clearly like, I don't know. It's possible. Like, clearly they're doing this because they don't want to be.
Thought this out.
They've thought this out because they're doing this because they don't want to potentially be in a situation where people are claiming they're anti-Semitic because of the use of the word in the future. They're doing this before they can be called out potentially by whoever would get offended by it. Obviously. Because they like, this is very slipped under the radar. It's just in like part 5 of an adventure book series. So it's there. It's there. It's a change that they've made in Pathfinder 2e. Or Pathfinder 2nd edition. And
it's not bad.
Like,
it's not bad. I'm not upset about it.
No.
I mean, I don't know.
Don't care.
I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing that I thought was interesting enough to at least report upon.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Because like, never mind. You know what I mean? It's just like they're doing this without. Paizo are doing this without like people haven't provoked them into doing this. This is just something they decided to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Spontaneously.
It's a spontaneous thing that they decided to do in one of their recent book releases just because they wanted to, as far as I can tell. So that's a thing. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I guess I don't know. I don't want to get caught between a rock and a hard place with this one, with my own words. But like,
but look, it's a word that it looks like it's a word where the meaning was created largely by D&D, and people in the D&D and gaming communities have used the word phylactery with its new meaning without any connection or in most cases knowledge of its like origin. So like
yeah. Continue.
No, that it just sounds like
something
that doesn't change, but it's not like a horrible problem if it changes.
Yeah, it's whatever, I suppose. I guess I will say, like, I don't particularly have a reason to stop using phylactery. I don't think any of us do. At least as far as like other gaming systems are concerned, because this is just Pathfinder specifically that's doing this. But like, you know.
Yep. I'm gonna keep using phylactery as well.
I don't have a reason to stop, because like they're, you know, it, not to sound rude or just like, whoa, but it's like, I don't think a lot of people cared in the first place. So, you know, I can't find anybody making a big uproar about it. So I don't think a lot of people actually cared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a thing they decided to change just in case they get bombed. So, you know. Anyways, like, I think we've been going for like an hour or something. Yeah, like I said, that's all the news because I couldn't find a lot to talk about, like I said before. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, short today, I guess. I don't know. What do we even talk about?
Things.
Yep, things.
We talked about things, yes.
There was so much to talk about last week. What happened? I don't know. Yeah. Where do I go? The news to stuff. Unless either of you have a host topic. Nope. Okay. I can't think of one off the top of my head. So, well, let's move on then to, I guess, shameless self-promotion in the end, because we're at the end, pretty much. Nothing else to talk about, I suppose. But yes. So, Matthew, what do you do and when do you release videos? I assume never at this point, but you never know.
Currently never. But you can find me. I work on too many things. That's why never. You can find me on YouTube under Thologram and Mystical Meanderings.
All right. And that's it, because
and on Twitch under Mystical Meanderings at the moment.
All right. Devin, what have you got?
Well, I got a channel called Defmafu Gaming, and I still have to finish. I have to do one more episode, and then I think I'll be done with the season 1 of The Rock, and then I can upload that.
All right.
And that will be uploaded weekly.
All right. You can check that out on.
And then I'll start working on
where can people
Defmafu
find
Gaming.
Okay.
And then I have some stuff. Oh yeah, you're on. And then I also have another channel, which I think I'm about to change the name of again.
Jesus.
To You Think What? Because You Think What is a much catchier, rememberable title
than
what it is right now.
What is it?
Yeah, that's the point.
What is it?
Blingden?
No, what? Blingden was a really good name, but now that channel is locked because I don't know the password to get into the email.
Should really write these things down.
I did. I have a little notebook somewhere around here, and I wrote everything down in it.
You should make sure to keep your notebook that has all your passwords.
Forget about the fact that it's like right there. Wait, no. Oh, I don't know where it is. It's
maybe you should have a notebook for your notebook.
Oh
no, just a thought.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I really thought it was right there, and it's not, and I have no idea where it is. It should be right there, but I moved it right there, and it's not right there. Well, anyway,
that doesn't sound important. So
I'll find it pretty soon. It's around here somewhere.
It's around somewhere. Yeah, that's what you've got coming up.
That's what I've got, and that's basically it. Yeah, that's basically
right, cool.
That's it.
Yeah. So what I do I what? Podcast will continue to come out weekly on Sundays.
Hey,
don't worry about that. Hopefully, I do have some actual news in regards to a 4th member of the podcast who will return from the grave. Max is possibly coming back next week, but don't get your hopes up.
That's exciting.
So yes, Max will finally be appearing once again after like many months since the last time he's on.
Oh yeah.
So you can be excited for a person who knows what they're talking about. So that'll be fun. I'm sure he has lots to talk about. But yes, so that's that. Find me on gaming discussion channel. Words. Why can't I do anything ever? Jesus, I can't speak. I can't write. I can't do nothing. It's terrible. It's terrible. I just can't do nothing. Anyways, yes, the podcast will continue to come out on Sundays. On Gaming the Discussion YouTube, GTD podcast, SoundCloud, if you want to check it out. I have a Twitter as well that I don't do anything with except for announce when the episode is out, because I don't use Twitter at all. So you can find my Twitter. It should be pretty easy. It's at gaming, the discussion, hopefully, or at gaming the discuss, depending on how Twitter works, which I don't know. I don't actually know how Twitter helps you find people. I don't know if it's based on the @name or the name of the account itself. I don't know how that works.
Okay.
Maybe you'll find it. I don't know. But yeah, that's about it. I don't announce anything else except for the podcast because I can't physically make a promise on if something other than the podcast will come out. That's that. Maybe something will happen. I don't know. We'll find out together. Yes, and that's it for shameless self-promotion. So that's all fun. Do I sound I really hope I don't sound like monotonous and like weird, because like I sound really boring right now. To me, anyway. I feel like I sound super bored out of my mind. I hope that's not the case, because I'm not. I don't know.
Just a little gravelly.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with my voice, but I sound super bored as hell in my own ears. Yes, that's the end of the podcast. Hopefully,
Aaron,
what?
No, Aaron, here's what you need to do. You need to talk like this with lots of extra energy and like look at the camera and like almost have like a panic attack and like talk really fast. Like, oh. And also you need to add like splash graphics and jump cuts to the stream.
Or you could just be like green and talk calmly.
Literally be the worst thing.
Whoa! Or just
everybody. Yeah.
Being calm sounds more fun.
Gonna get really all fast up there, smash that like button and subscribe button. Do the thing. I don't know. I'm terrible at this.
And crush your enemies.
Crush your enemies?
Yes.
Why would I want to
have any? Crush them.
I don't have any enemies that I'm aware of. Why would I want to?
That's the thing. You're not aware of them, but you have to crush them.
But how am I supposed to crush them if I don't know who they are?
Who knows? That's not really the point.
This sounds like terrible advice.
What? No, it sounds like great advice to me.
No, I think it's bad. I think it's terrible bad advice.
It's great advice.
Trust me. Terrible, no good, very bad advice.
Also, don't listen to some of the things I say.
Yeah, you think?
I wasn't planning on it.
Good.
Right. Next week I'll be more prepared, hopefully. It's not like I wasn't prepared. I just didn't find a lot of stuff. So hopefully next week we'll actually have stuff to talk about. So it is what it is. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the GTD podcast. This episode has been relatively short. I don't even think we made it to an hour. Maybe we did. I don't know. But that's fine. Maybe it'll do better. I highly doubt it. You can you know where to find us. You're literally watching it right now. You know what to do.
Go to the description. Gaming the discussion on Twitter.
Yeah. I guess I should.
The discussion on YouTube.
Something I always forget to say is that everything we talk about and all of the channels and stuff of my co-hosts are in the description. I always forget to say that, but it's there in the description. Yeah. Or if you're on YouTube, the pinned comment, so you can go down there and check everything out.
Yes.
I hope you do, because then you can prove we aren't talking out of our ass. By looking up the sources we use, you too will be aware
that things exist.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I physically, my brain is moving at like 2 nanoseconds. My brain is moving at like a snail's pace right now. I can't even do anything. What's going on?
Huh.
But yes, thank you all so much for watching this episode. I've already said that, but I'll say it again because I love you all so much. And goodbyes and all that from my co-hosts who hopefully do that thing.
Goodbye.
You don't have to be so dramatic about it. You just have to say like thanks and goodbye or whatever.
Shush.
Whatever.
How about if I'm just like, whatever. Whatever.
Eh,
We're all gonna die
whatever.
anyway. Whatever.
Whatever. It's over. Thanks for watching and all that. I'm from Boston. Anyway, this has gone on too long. So
Yeah.
it's just going to end.
Bye. See everyone next week.
Yeah.